tell us your name, please?
I am Alora Lux.
You are Alora. Now, you have an interesting relationship with pain, don't you? It's not something you try to avoid. Can you tell us about that?
Interesting is a good way to put it. My relationship with pain. So I suppose, unlike most people, I don't really fear pain in the same way. I see it as something that I can explore and understand better, rather than avoiding it and then not being prepared when it happens. I think pain is part of life, and I'd like to be prepared for that when it happens. I think, however, you might be referring to maybe my kinky relationship with pain and how I use pain to heighten my pleasure. So I'm not a typical masochist. I don't get off on the pain per se. I still feel it as pain and register it as painful. But when I have those experiences alongside pleasurable experiences, the pleasure just becomes so much better.
Okay,
That's why I like
so it's
it.
the contrast.
The contrast, absolutely. It's a beautiful relationship.
So tell us something about the physical pain you've put yourself through and your poor body through over the years.
Oh, goodness. So I think one of the most painful experiences of my adult life has been a scene I did maybe about a year ago. In fact, it's Halloween tomorrow, so it's very close to a year ago. And that was an experiment with chili paste, which involved me being in bondage, semi-suspended. So what I mean by that is my feet aren't completely off the ground, but I'm in a stressful position where I'm having to kind of hold my own weight a little bit. This was alongside enema. So something that I've delved into over the last couple of years, and that creates a very unique, painful experience. It's internal, it's crampy, it's an agony unlike any other, and you can't make it go away instantly like you can, say, when you get caned. The worst bit is when the cane lands, and then after that, the heat dissipates. With enema, it grows and it becomes more painful, and then even after you've decided enough is enough, the pain continues. So you have to know what you're getting yourself in for. Equally, the chili paste, alongside these other things that I was doing, was a building pain. And I think I managed 45 minutes in the scene before I asked for it to stop. And I did, and I was listened to, and I was given the correct aftercare, which lasted around about 4 hours, which included me sobbing my heart out. I was wishing the top was dead. I was asking him, how could you do this to me? But I also remember before we did the scene, he'd warned me that I was going to have these feelings. He'd told me the last sub he'd done it with had lasted 30 minutes and that she was screaming to die. She wanted him to end her life. It was that painful. And I remember saying to him with a smile on my face, I'm going to beat that. I want to beat that. It's the challenge of pain that I also enjoy. So even without the pleasure aspect, because there was no pleasure in that scene for me, it was just the challenge. And the joy that I get from that comes long afterwards. And even now, I feel happy talking about it with you.
I can see.
And how proud I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Do you enjoy emotional pain as well as physical pain? Is that something you seek out, like humiliation, that kind of thing?
maybe not actively seek out, but I certainly have sought it in my past, probably in a more self-harmy kind of sense. There have been times when I've been drawn to people, the way that they treat me, because it's familiar or because it's attention of some kind, and I don't actually condone those types of behaviours in myself, and I try to stop myself from acting like that now. Emotional play, with regards to my kinks, I'd say I explore fear play. I enjoy messing with people's heads. I like to make somebody think that one thing is going to happen when actually they're perfectly safe and nothing ever is going to happen to them that would be awful. So that's a kind of emotional manipulation play, I suppose, but I don't seek relationships where people abuse me mentally anymore. No, it's definitely in the past.
And do you think that's as a result of your career in kink? Is it a healthier way of dealing with your desire for pain?
I think it's just come through experience and knowledge. So as I've grown up, I've realised that certain ways of behaving aren't good for you. and they don't make you feel better in the long run. So it's just experience, and I think people have to make their own mistakes and get there themselves. You can't warn somebody, don't do this, it's terrible. They need to do it themselves and realise how terrible it is.
So you're predominantly known as a wrestler.
I suppose so. It depends where you ask.
Yeah. So tell me about that. Sexy wrestling.
Wrestling is my favourite. I've been doing it for some years now, and I dabble in all areas of wrestling. So as well as the pro style stuff that you'll be more familiar with seeing on the TV, I do a lot of fetish wrestling. I mostly work with women, but I've also worked with men and trans as well. And I'm not fussy. I don't mind who I fight. I just like to fight. So that's great. I actually really love wrestling men, especially when they think they're stronger than me.
Okay.
Because wrestling isn't about strength. It's about technique, and it's a battle of wits. I think you'd really enjoy it if you got into it. You know, once you develop a few skills here and there, you can outwit your opponent. You can get under them or even over them in some ways. A lot of people think that when they see two wrestlers together, it's the person on top that's winning, and that's not true.
Okay.
It's about conserving your strength, biding your time, and taking those moments. And I guess the anticipation is what I love the most about that.
Okay. Yeah, because I don't have any physical strength at all, and you're very strong, so I just assumed I couldn't be any good at wrestling.
No, I know plenty of wrestlers that aren't physically strong. I mean, some of the better ones, obviously, they build that strength over time, especially if they're doing sessions like lift and carry, for example, which is quite a big fetish. A lot of people might book me just to pick them up, carry them around.
Oh, wow.
Stroke them, maybe whisper comforting things to them, or maybe I'll say, I'm so strong, do you like my muscles? And they'll be like worshipping my body. I'll put them down, I'll make them kind of like stroke my legs and things like that. Maybe even stand on them, make them feel my entire weight, that kind of thing. So body worshipping is a big kink, and so a lot of wrestlers get into doing those types of sessions.
How big a man could you lift?
So my weight limit, I cap it at 78 kilo, because if I'm lifting any more than that, I'm risking damage to myself, especially if they want picking up. It's an hour session, you know. You're going to have to be picking them up, carrying around for a few minutes, putting them down, having a little breather, maybe do something else with them, then pick them up again. And it's a lot of work. And if you're doing like 2 or 3 sessions a day, it's very demanding.
And you don't look particularly muscly to me.
I'm out of shape at the moment. I haven't done a bit of wrestling for a while. I've been taking a bit of a vacation the last month or so, but I mean,
Oh, it's still there. Yeah.
I'm definitely
Still got it.
stronger than I was.
Okay.
One of the things that really helped me build up my arm muscles was pole fitness, of all things. And I really want to get back to that because that's so much fun.
I was stronger when I was pole dancing.
You used to pole dance?
Yeah,
Oh,
pole dance,
fantastic.
yeah.
I knew you were a dancer, but I
Yeah.
didn't know you did pole.
Pole a little bit. Yeah, I was never very good, to be fair. Where was I going next? Any thoughts? Yeah, so you're not only a wrestler, you're also an incredibly beautiful model, and you do other kinds of fetish modelling, so tell us more of that.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I do all sorts of modelling. So I've always been interested in modelling ever since I was little, and I tried a little bit of it at university. I did a bit of TFP work, which is time for print. Never got paid for it, and it was only after leaving my vanilla profession, really, and having to reassess my life, that I decided I really want to get back into that, and I'm good enough to get paid, you know, why not? And it picked up from there. I did a lot of photo shoots in studios. I love outdoor shoots, and also I shoot from home. So I have quite a bit of kink equipment at home, be that tools of the trade or actual furniture that you can pose with and get some really nice stills. And what a lot of people think when they think of fetish photography is that that'll be like a real scene that's happening and it's very fly on the wall kind of pictures, but primarily those aren't the types of pictures that I get paid for. I love having sessions photographed, I love it, but most of the time people are setting up these shots. They want them to look a certain way. I've even had photographers come with set poses for me to do, you know, they know what they want. And I really like the erotic stuff, so where you don't even see my face, it's all just about body shapes and shadows and telling a bit of a story. And kink's really great at doing that in photography, because just having that little key on the side, or maybe a bit of rope dangling down from the hands, you know, it makes you think quite erotic thoughts.
And go beyond the picture.
Yeah, I think kink photography has always been one of my favourite art forms. Yeah.
And did you imagine that you'd be a model when you were growing up?
No. God, no. No, I wasn't really considered attractive growing up, or at least I wasn't made to feel that way. I was always quite overweight and too tall, and people used to make fun of me for my cheeks and my lips and the way that I talked, and I never really felt desirable. And even in my first real proper relationship, which was when I was 18, like I said, ugly duckling, I wasn't really made to feel like I was wanted. And it's only really in the last 7 years or so that I've been able to embrace who I am and feel sexy.
Wonderful.
I love it.
Yeah,
Everyone
what
should
a
be able to
treat.
feel that way.
Yeah, and all the things you mentioned, you know, have made you a fabulous model, the lips and the cheeks, and it's what you're known for.
You got to embrace what makes you you and what makes you unique. And I work with a lot of models in the industry that have had work done, and I think it's amazing that you can change your body in so many ways these days, but I don't think I'd want to do that personally. I want to love my body for what it is, warts and all, you know, and just be who I am.
How do you see your career developing?
Well, as I'm approaching my mid-30s and getting to be a slightly older woman, I really see myself becoming somebody in the kink community and industry, because I do this 24/7. Like, it's my personal life as well as my job. And I want to be somebody that's looked up to. I want to be somebody that helps to teach people and show them the way and give them new experiences. I love cherry popping. It's one of my favourite things to do. Someone comes to me and goes, "Oh, I've never done that." I'm like, "Come to me, let's do it." I see myself probably becoming a pro dom or pro top, because I don't really associate with being a dominatrix as such, but I love topping and I love acting. I'd like to do more professional acting, maybe stunt work as well. But again, as age gets on top of me, maybe being a stunt woman isn't the best idea for my bones. But yeah, I'm definitely going to stay in the kink industry.
Yeah. You said to me you are very ambitious, but it's not about money for you, which seemed interesting.
No,
No
money
interest
doesn't
in money.
interest me. Money comes, money goes. I don't come from money. I grew up poor.
I grew up poor, so I pursue money relentlessly. I think you can go either way.
Okay, that's interesting. Our values are ingrained in us quite early in life, and my mum never really put any onus on money. She never made us feel bad for not having it either, and so I was never made to feel guilty for not having money. So I don't really see the point. As long as I've got enough to get by, and I like spoiling people. When I've got money, I spend it. I treat my friends, I treat my lovers, I treat myself. I'm a big kid, so you come to my house, it's full of kids' toys. I've got a princess pop-up tent, I've got a bouncy castle, I've got a 7-foot inflatable sprinkler dinosaur. There's crazy shit.
Without going too Freudian, do you think you're trying to compensate perhaps for your childhood a little bit?
100%, yeah. I never got anything new as a kid. It was always hand-me-downs, so I'm definitely living my childhood now.
Wonderful. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
Superb. So in terms of your ambitions, it is about being respected in the kink scene, and you say it's very supportive where you live in Birmingham.
My ambitions lie mostly within myself. I want to get out there and experience things. I am ambitious for things, for experiences, for doing something new and exciting that I've never done before. Coming to a new country recently has really opened my eyes, and I think I always want to develop my perspectives. I want to keep learning. Throughout my whole life, I want to keep learning. I don't want to say, okay, that's enough, that's done. Here's my opinions from now on. No, I want people to challenge me and change the way I think about the world.